Now at 5, details on a lease signing struggle between Chanute City Commissioners and Safari Museum and Library. Plus, an elementary school in Parsons, Kansas unveils its new outdoor classroom. And
a heated hearing as Attorney General Merrick Garland testifies before the House Judiciary Committee. I'm Natalie Brandt on Capitol Hill with his response to accusations of political interference.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Chanute, Kansas is battling with the Public Library and Safari Museum concerning facility repairs. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The library and the museum operate in a city-owned building rent-free, but the city maintains the agreement requires the organizations to pay for maintenance. And the groups say they now can't afford the estimated $1 million cost to replace a malfunctioning HVAC system.
We do have some savings on the library side, but if we spent those savings on our half of the HVAC system, it would eliminate any kind of savings that we would have. So if there was a fire or a major disaster or something like that, we would have no kind of safety net to fall back on.
The only thing we want is an understanding, because the agreement that's been in there since 1990 isn't clear on who is supposed to cover that stuff.
The city commissioner says the city is proposing a new agreement where the museum and the library would pay for rent and the city would be responsible for maintenance. But there appears to be some confusion about exactly what this new arrangement would require. Reporter Fernanda Silva is going to break it down for us tonight at 6. Students at a Parsons, Kansas elementary school are going to be learning in the fresh air. The Meadowview Elementary today hosted a ribbon cutting for its new outdoor classroom area. It was paid for by a donation from Parsons native and former director of the FCC, Ajit Pai, as well as the Parsons Area Community Foundation. Pai was there to cut the ribbon.
My 8th grade teacher, Miss Veranda, had mentioned that, we're thinking about building an outdoor classroom and we could use the funds for it. And so I had a little bit of money when I left the FCC to donate, and I thought, I want to donate to my elementary school. Nothing against the universities I attended or my high school, but I've always thought that elementary schools have a really important part in the educational system, and I wanted to do my own small part to help advance that for the community.
Work on the outdoor classroom finished in April. Nice day to be outside. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic afternoon. Of course, we got some heavy amounts of rain last night, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, very vivid electric show, and we needed the rain. Now the sunshine. Lower 80s in Missouri, Arkansas, mid 80s once you get out across northeastern Oklahoma, also southeastern Kansas. But check out some of these rainfall amounts. So look at this cluster, We're talking 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. So let's go to Pittsburgh, a nice cluster of 3 to 4 inches of rain. Let's drop south. 3, 4, 5 inches, Ottawa County down through parts of McDonald County. So we definitely needed the rain. We look pretty good outside for us right now. If you are going out this evening, we're going to drop back through the 70s into the 60s. More thunderstorms in the forecast. Those details here in just a bit.
See you soon. The head of the United Nations hosted a climate meeting. China and the U.S., the world's top 2 emitters, were not included. The Climate Ambition Summit is billed as a no-nonsense forum where only leaders who've made concrete plans to achieve net zero greenhouse emissions are allowed to speak. While the Biden administration's climate envoy, John Kerry, is not permitted to deliver remarks, California Governor Gavin Newsom did address the crowd. House Republicans called U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland to Capitol Hill for an oversight hearing on the Department of Justice. But the hearing became a back and forth about GOP claims that the DOJ has become a tool of President Biden used to attack his political opponents. Reporter Natalie Brandt has more details from Capitol Hill.
We will not be intimidated.
Attorney General Merrick Garland, in the hot seat before the House Judiciary Committee, defended the work of the Justice Department he leads.
I am not the president's lawyer. I will add, I am not Congress's prosecutor.
Republicans on the committee accused the DOJ of what they call a 2-tiered system of justice.
Americans believe that today in our country, there is unequal application of the law.
They see the DOJ, of course, aggressively prosecuting President Biden's chief political rival, Mr. Trump, while at the same time, they see slow walking and special treatment given to the president's son.
Republicans peppered the Attorney General with questions about the DOJ's investigation into Hunter Biden. Garland referred lawmakers to the special counsel overseeing the probe more than 24 times.
Prosecutors make appropriate determinations on their own. In this case, I left it to Mr. Weiss whether to bring charges or not.
Democrats accuse Republicans of pushing conspiracy theories for political gain.
They want to divide this country and make our government appear like it's broken, because that is when their broken political party thrives. So today, I implore the public to see through the sham.
Attorney General Garland also testified that no one told him to indict former President Trump, rebutting Trump's campaign trail claim. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Garland repeated multiple times that claims of politicized or weaponized DOJ have led to security threats against FBI and DOJ personnel. Just ahead, a major concern among the elderly.
Falling is a major health danger for older Americans, but there are ways to reduce the risk. I'm Bradley Blackburn with the steps to take before an accident happens.
And later, the Federal Reserve takes another look at interest. Topping today's Health Watch, the World Health Organization says 76 million deaths could be averted by 2050 if treatment for high blood pressure improves. A report from the WHO shows about 80% of people with hypertension are not being adequately treated, and half of all people who have the condition don't even know it. Hypertension can lead to stroke, heart attack, kidney damage, and other serious issues. On that same note, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force is recommending screening for hypertension disorders throughout pregnancy. This even goes for people without chronic hypertension. The report from the independent panel of medical experts recommends doctors check blood pressure to monitor for related disorders like preeclampsia. For older Americans, a fall can be a life-altering event. Falling sends millions of adults to emergency rooms every year and can often lead to other serious medical problems. Reporter Bradley Blackburn shows us how a new approach with wide-ranging treatment is making a difference.
82-year-old Lynn Ladis lives alone in her New Jersey apartment and recently had to go to the hospital after a series of falls.
Did you have any injuries?
No. She's going to be mad at me now.
She's not worried about the danger, but her daughter Nicole Ladis sees things differently.
I want to keep her safe. You know, I know what a fall can do to an elderly person. What ends up happening?
Nicole works at Hackensack University Medical Center, where their geriatric medicine center has a comprehensive fall prevention program.
Face where you're going to open.
They sent an occupational therapist to visit Lynn's home to do a risk assessment and make suggestions to prevent falls in the future.
We can kind of practice that. And then I can say, okay, how about we try doing it this way instead?
Falls are the leading cause of hospital admission for older adults, and one fall doubles the chance of falling again, according to the American Geriatric Society.
Hold.
Hackensack's program looks at everything from a patient's home environment to their muscle condition to their mix of medications, all of which can be falling risks.
Falls required addressing all of the above, not just one particular factor.
Dr. Manisha Perulakar is the division chief. She says caretakers often have to make the call when an older person needs help, and advice from a medical professional can carry more weight.
You need that neutral third party to have that, and somebody who's considered as an expert.
Lynn is willing to make changes that could help keep her safe and independent.
You have to realize you're not going to be able to do what you did.
Because a fall is nothing small as you age. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Hackensack, New Jersey.
The CDC says more than 1 in 4 older adults falls each year, but fewer than half of those people tell their doctor about it. More than 95% of hip fractures are caused by falling. Having good oral health increases the chances of surviving cancers of the neck and head. According to a study published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute, people who visited the dentist more than 5 times in the decade prior to diagnosis had a 60% survival rate 10 years later. That's compared to just 32% for those with no visits. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our Pet Vet On Call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about why cats like small boxes.
And if you didn't get any rain last night, we have more rain in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, it turned out to be a really nice afternoon after the showers. Thunderstorms we had last night, very loud, very electric night. And then now clear skies, looks fantastic. A nice shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, for the month with the rain last night at the airport in Joplin, we're at 2.16 inches, which is good because we've been fairly dry over the past couple weeks. We're still 10 inches below for the year, but I think we're going to start to close that gap. We're not going to get back to zero, but we're going to close that gap as we go through the latter half of 2023. All right, upper 70s, lower 80s, Missouri, Arkansas, mid 80s, Kansas, and also Oklahoma. You can see the southerly wind looks fantastic. Here's 7th, here's range line 82, humidity at 49%, a southerly wind at about 5 to 10. If you want to get outside this evening, do it. We're going to have partly cloudy skies, slide back through the 80s, 70s into the mid 60s later on tonight. We have a few little cumulus clouds out there, but besides that, it looks pretty good. All the rain, showers and thunderstorms we had earlier, these are all gone. We are going to watch this little area. There's a weak little wave that may try to flare up a few showers in our southern counties late tonight, but check this out. We have another wave right here. This will give us rain late tomorrow night. Another wave behind it, which will affect us as we head into the weekend. Let's step through time. I'm going to stop at about 5 a.m. You can see a few spotty little thunderstorms, very scattered. Northeastern Oklahoma, kind of trying to lift north, so very spotty. So you may wake up with a random shower. Then mostly cloudy skies through the morning, mid 70s by noon, and then we warm to right around 80 degrees. Here's 5 p.m. Look what's happening out to the west. Showers, thunderstorms increase again. Here's 7:30 p.m. Some of these guys could be strong tomorrow evening. Showers and thunderstorms work through. Very similar to what we had last night. Very scattered, but kind of strong storms. Scattered thunderstorms continue. Here's 3 a.m. on Friday morning. We start the day, thunderstorms on Friday, very similar to what we had today. And then these will start to press out once we get into Friday afternoon. Then we set up to see a nice evening again on Friday for a little bit of high school football, which is going to be going on Friday night. So things, at least we got more rain, which is in the forecast. How much rain can we get? I'm going to stop this midday Friday. So we're looking over the next 36 hours, and a lot of areas are going to pick up another half an inch, maybe some isolated 2-inch amounts. 67 in the morning tomorrow, 77 by noon, 83 by 4 p.m. I think a high temp right around 85 degrees. We also have to focus in on this weekend because we are going to have the potential to get some severe weather Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So we'll be talking more about that at 6. 85 tomorrow, 81 on Friday, 87 Saturday, 80 on Sunday. Dry out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then pop-up storms late next week. Temperatures 80s through the period.
It's good to get some widespread heavy rain last night. Let's hope we get some more.
I think we will.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, Goldman Sachs gives his prediction on oil prices over the next year. Topping today's Consumer Watch, in the past year and a half, the Federal Reserve has increased interest rates to the highest level in 22 years, all in an attempt to ease inflation. Well, now the Fed is trying a new strategy. Reporter Skylar Henry explains.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says it's time to put a pause on interest rate hikes.
Given how far we have come, we are in a position to proceed carefully as we assess the incoming data and the evolving outlook and risks.
The Fed's decision comes as inflation is cooling. The current rate is at 3.7%, way down from last summer's peak. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the Fed's target is inflation at just 2%.
At 3.7% annualized to 2% is actually a giant step. That's why so many economists believe that rates will have to stay higher.
Continuous high interest rates have made it difficult for Americans looking to borrow money. Mortgage rates are now more than 7% compared to just under 3% 2 years ago. Credit cards are at a record high and nearing 21%. and the average rate for a new car loan is 7.4%, the highest level since 2008. But the latest pause in rate hikes may be temporary. Powell signaled another boost could happen this fall if needed.
Restoring price stability is essential to set the stage for achieving maximum employment and stable prices over the longer run.
One concern for the Fed is gas prices, which are up about 20 cents a gallon in the past year. Bankrate's Greg McBride.
The risk is that if oil and gas prices stay high, that can ripple out into the costs of other goods and services and undermine some of the progress that we've seen on inflation so far.
The Fed will analyze the economy and make its next decision on rates in November. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Goldman Sachs predicts oil prices will average $100 a barrel a year from now. The investment banking giant made that forecast today, citing Saudi Arabia's aggressive supply cuts. Brent crude, the world benchmark, currently sells for around $94 a barrel. Goldman said it doesn't see prices going consistently above $105 a barrel next year, but even $100 a barrel oil would be very bad news for drivers who are already experiencing some pain at the pump. Kraft is recalling roughly 83,000 cases of individually wrapped Kraft Singles American cheese that might be, quote, unpleasant or make you gag. Kraft Heinz said the faulty American cheese singles could pose a choking hazard. The company's statement characterized the problem as a temporary issue with one of its wrapping machines. According to the statement, a thin strip of the individual film might remain on the slice after the wrapper has been removed. And that is our wrap on Consumer Watch. Our Pet Vet on Call up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, how natural disasters are creating a climate insurance nightmare. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the lease disagreement between the City of Chanute and the Safari Museum and Library, plus how a grant is helping Pittsburgh Community Schools provide fresh produce for its students. And Webb City High School and Missouri Southern baseball standout is promoted to AAA. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Our pets can sometimes have puzzling habits that are actually pretty common to their species. Today's question for our Pet Vet on Call: why do many cats like to sit in small boxes?
Well, most people think it's for safety. You know, even though a cat really is a predator, they're also prey. So when they crawl into a tiny little box, they kind of disappear. They're camouflaged, so they feel safe. I think they feel a little cozier too. It's kind of like those of us who like to sleep under heavy blankets.
We invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday. You'll find them right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Hey, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we have Marco, an adult male basset hound. You have to love basset hounds. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have Crow. The shelter says he's a 10-month-old short hair who's shy but lovable. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? They always have a lot of great ones to choose among. And the weather, pretty nice evening to get out to enjoy your pet.
Yeah, it looks great. We're going to be sliding back through the 80s, 70s, eventually into the 60s. We are going to watch for a few pop-up showers late tonight and then thunderstorms tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. Some of those could be strong, lasting into Friday morning. Thunderstorms Saturday night into Sunday morning. Some of those could be strong to severe. So, of course, we're going to be breaking this all down for you tonight at 6.
Bring on the rain. Most people will say the more the better.
We need it.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And, of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.